Hello, 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 internets, and welcome to the Foolish Tech Show.
Yo, 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 yo.
Hope you had a good weekend and starting your week off right. Been talking to Glenn in the chat, and if you'd like to talk with us and ask us questions, we're here to answer support about your questions about our software, if you run into any issues, or if you just want to talk about things you found interesting or want to go over, we're more than happy to do that. So jump over to foolishtechshow.com or foolishit.com/live. You can jump in the IRC chat there and chit chat with us. And Glenn was saying he usually has spot fire days on Mondays, and today it was wildfire days. That kind of sounds ominous, doesn't it? And I'm still trying to work out, even after talking to him, if it was he's having people call in and work on things with, sounds like Windows 10 has been good for business, or if it was an actual wildfire that happened this weekend while he was out storm chasing. So kind of having two things going on at once there. But
It'd be interesting to hear about.
yeah. So speaking of Windows 10 issues, I updated my NVIDIA graphics card this weekend with the driver and whatnot. And then I ran Windows updates right after that, and then restarted my system. And when it restarted, it came up to the boot screen with the little circling and the Windows logo, and then I guess it's blue screen, I don't even know what they call it now, it just came up with that weird, stupid smiley face message or frowny face message. That kind of aggravates me more than a blue screen did. But I had a system thread exception and was like, what the crap? And couldn't boot into Windows. Was able to boot into safe mode once, but like tried the restore thing that it automatically prompted me with, and that didn't work. And then was able to go into safe mode, and I tried uninstalling the video driver, which people were saying that's what gives that error, and that didn't work. And then finally ended up restoring from the system image, since I used the Windows 7 backup. It restored the system image and let me back in finally. So my backup routine works. I still have yet to update the NVIDIA graphics card or restart my computer since then, but hey. And Glenn said it's business is busy, so that's where the spot fire wildfire thing comes on. And he says a timely promotion for Crypto Prevent. Yep, we talked about that on Friday. That new attack that steals your passwords and ransoms your files at the same time. Actually, I had come across another article. Let me see if I can find it first. About a guy that downloaded and pirated Fallout 4 and had all of his Bitcoin stolen. He had his wallet stored on the computer that he was on. They were able to get a copy of his wallet and then crack the password, and then stole like 4.18 bitcoins, which equals to be about $1,700. So for him not going out and paying for a $50 game and downloading the cracked version, he lost $1,700. So yeah, don't pirate or scan for viruses before you run pirated things. Or don't run pirated things on your secure system. Something, I don't know. Just probably best not to pirate, because $50 is a
Yeah.
lot safer than $1,700 getting lost, or who knows what else other havoc could have been wreaked on there. But yeah, his bitcoins are effectively gone, and that is part of the thing about keeping your stuff on the same computer that you game on and do bad things on. Don't don't do that. That's dumb. Um, Also, bitcoins are about to break the $400 mark in value, so that's another interesting development over the weekend. I think they're at like 396 for every US dollar now. And Proctor had done a comparison on the Plex media server, and we have talked about the Kodi slash OpenElect media servers. And Lifehacker actually did a home theater software showdown comparing Kodi and Plex. So if you wanted to check out their review of those, um, essentially they couldn't say one was better than the other, but they said if you want to invest the research and time and you like customization, Kodi is obviously the best way to go since it's open source and free. If you like things to work and be simple, then Plex is the better route to go, but you'll end up paying for their subscription service. So, kind of the short and sweet of that. And then another interesting life hacker article I found was this make your own under the door draft blocker. And I actually need that on this door over here because it's really crappily done, and there's about like that much of a gap under my door, and it just goes straight outside. So I just have a towel rolled up in front of it to block it. But this article has an interesting way of using those pool noodles and putting it inside a pillowcase, and then you have one on each side of the door, and you have a draft blocker that works really well. And it's probably easier to maintain than me having to shove the towel back up under there every time. So what's up with everyone else? How's the weekend?
You were talking about Plex, Brantley, and I've been using it at home the last week or so, and it's really easy to use, and I really like it.
Nice.
I don't know that you really need to pay the subscription to get most of the features. Last week I missed the season finale episode of Rain, and for some reason it didn't DVR. So yeah, I was actually able to add the CW channel to Plex, and I have the free version, and was able to watch that show. They have a ton of other channels that you can add to it free of charge.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's doing pretty much everything I need it to do. I think the only reason you might want to get the subscription is for the be able to store your media in the cloud.
Nice. Well, good to know. The other thing they were saying in that article was that it didn't have as many customization options, and just because it wasn't open source, so the community couldn't add as many options as Kodi OpenElect has the ability to do. How do you find it in customization? Are you pretty much stuck with what they give you, kind of thing?
Yeah, I guess it is a little limited in that aspect, but I think it makes up for it in ease of use for most people.
Yeah. Well, and that's definitely something you want when you're trying to replace your TV, because that is one thing TVs do well, is being easy to sit in front of for hours.
Yeah, most people don't want to mess around with their TVs. They just want to turn them on and have them work.
Yeah. I was actually talking to someone this past weekend that has a media server set up, and they actually have it split between their kitchen and their living room, and they have it set up so that one output is going to the kitchen, one output's going to the living room. When it boots up, it mirrors to both of them, but then they can divide it so then the kitchen can watch its own thing and the living room can watch its own thing. I didn't get too many details about what exactly he had set up and was running, but he said it worked really well. The only thing he was missing now was to get a remote so that he can just press a remote instead of having to log in and change the video monitor settings. But he said he could get a remote and was looking at that so that he can just push a button and it'll switch between the various video modes he has configured. I thought that was a pretty cool setup.
What operating system is he running?
Where I talked to him, it's more than likely just a base Linux install, and he has OpenELEC installed on top of that or something like that. I think it was OpenELEC, so the Kodi OS, basically. But he really likes it.
Cool.
Well, we had a fun misadventure yesterday. We went to Tallulah Falls in Georgia. And basically that's like this huge gorge that has about 5 or 8 waterfalls and this huge dam. And the purpose of the trip was so that we could get drone footage of all that. And I was able to do the drone at the dam, but then we went over to the gorge section and I was going to fly it off the gorge there. And it started off saying that the remote had weak signal. So we ended up trying to calibrate the compass, and then there was a firmware update, so we tried updating the firmware on the remote, and then it wouldn't connect to the drone because the firmware on the drone wasn't updated. To update the firmware on the drone, you actually have to go to a computer, take the SD card, download the firmware, put the SD card back in the drone, and then the drone is supposed to update, and that takes about 20 minutes. And it wasn't working, and we ended up waiting like 40 minutes. It still wasn't working, so we just got in the car and came back home. And got home, and it still wasn't connecting, so I re-downloaded the firmware, re-flashed it, still wasn't working, so I used a different SD card, re-downloaded the firmware, re-flashed it, still wasn't working. So then I tried re-updating the remote control firmware, that still didn't work. And then in some forum somewhere I found that you should try uninstalling the mobile app and clearing the data for that, and did that, and finally the drone's back working again. So
Wow.
yeah, that was quite the pain and the hassle, and I think it was actually, there was no problem with it at all, but that gorge is a place where people do rappelling and climbing, and it has like hundreds of steps to get down to the bottom of the gorge from the visitor center. And then once you get down to the bottom of the steps, you're allowed to go out onto the river and do like rock climbing slash water play, and you can go like all the way down the river and come back up. But you have to have like a special permit that you get in the visitor center before you go down there and like sign this waiver and all this stuff. And basically they want to know how many people are in the gorge. And I'm pretty sure what was going on was they probably have a pretty powerful transmitter for like rescue usage and ranger talking back and forth inside of the gorge to the visitor center. So I think that's why I had weak transmission signal there, and then we just went the wrong path to try to fix it and completely ruined that trip. So
The I went inside the building and it said that the gorge floor was closed due to weather, but the weather wasn't even bad, so I don't know why it was closed.
Probably rain. Like, it's hard to judge on the rain and how well the trails and rocks and things are. So, like, that's how that gorge was created, with erosion. So, plus, I think it's really during the summer. It's more of a summer thing that you're allowed to be down there and do stuff.
Oh,
I could be
maybe
wrong.
because the cold water, cold weather.
Yeah.
I'm catching on now.
But it was a really nice place. We did get to actually see the stuff from atop. We didn't take the stair route, so maybe next summer when we go in the water, we'll do that
Bless
side.
you.
Thank you.
The pass costs $100
For what?
to go on the gorge floor.
Um,
And you have to be 25 to get it.
well, I went down there and we just had to sign a waiver. We didn't have to pay anything.
Well, they must have.
Thanks, Proctor.
You can mute before that.
Yeah.
Oh, I muted the headset, but I forgot on Friday.
We needed to hear that.
Yeah.
I forgot it was on the other mic.
That pass thing maybe for the rappelling and climbing stuff that we saw.
It said that it was for the gorge floor.
Who knows then? I don't think they would, like, because at the bottom of the stairs you have to have the pass to get into the swimming area that's like right there at the bottom of the stairs, and I know people aren't paying $100 just to go swimming down there.
I don't know. I've never been there. I'm just telling you what I read yesterday.
Yeah. We'll check it out next time, because we'll go back and try to get drone working somehow. Yeah. So what else is up? What else is going on? Bueller.
Man, I don't know. Nothing much. It was a good weekend. Boring, though.
How so good?
Well, good as in nothing bad happened.
Oh, well, that was good.
That is always good.
It's more neutral, I would probably say that. It was a neutral weekend.
When nothing bad happens, I consider that a good weekend.
That's good then.
Because I am a boring person.
I think we both are.
I used not to be like that. I used to be young and do stuff.
You can still do it.
No.
It's still in you. Glenn says any weekend you don't get arrested is a good weekend.
Also, very true.
And the opposite of that could be true as well. It could be a very good weekend and you got arrested for it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. Everything that led up to the arrest may have been really fun.
Yeah.
After that, it wasn't so much fun anymore.
Yeah. The goal is to bring it right up to that right up to that spot where you could get arrested.
Yeah. Or where you do get arrested but get released without any charges or fines.
Wow, y'all are boring.
We're not condoning bad activities, people.
Just boring ones.
Well, update on Crypto Prevent. I think I'm ironing out the last few glitches. I got it so it's working with the update files that I have and updates from 7.4 point whatever 41 to 8 without any errors. I have some issue with the service though, so I've been working on that this morning.
What's that?
It's not installing.
Something you can talk about, or it's
Not
not what?
installing. Not installing for some reason. I think it's something with what I have set up to have it installed. So I have to use the .NET util install util to install the service
I can tell you how to do it the right way if you want to know.
without using the .NET install util.
I don't use it.
Yeah, but I think with it being a .NET program, I have to use it. That's what I was reading at least.
I don't know why.
I don't either. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe it does something weird. But we could take a look at
Mm-hmm.
your route the right way, quote unquote.
Yes, API the right way, not some layered framework bullshit.
Like I said, maybe being the service being based on .NET, it requires that layered framework bullshit.
Well, it should theoretically still run off of it. It doesn't matter how the service gets installed. Just
Well, possibly. I mean, you don't know what the
Nah.
framework
It ought not to.
does.
We'll look at it.
Okay. Everything else
Does
is going
nothing.
pretty good though.
Everything you've told me about everything, like you're like, well, I do it this way in .NET, and I'm like it's easier. I'm like, no. It's more simple. It is, unless you actually want to do something. When you want to accomplish something, same amount of work when you want to do it right. I think. From the steps that you've described to me from doing things. Philosophy.
It's about half and half, probably.
Let's talk on a cereal box.
What?
Nothing.
What did that mean, Basil?
I cannot tell you. Excellent. Well, in the Kill 'Em All D7X front, I'm still plugging away at D7X code. I'm actually ready to release Kill 'Em All. It's ready to go. But I don't.
Did you work out that
Want to.
thing?
What thing?
That thing that you said?
Work out everything.
Yeah.
I work out everything.
Okay. Is there a new build in there for me to test then?
No, but I can get one for you. I'm just going over the. I'm actually changing a lot of code right now.
Okay. Let's test it out.
I'm just rearranging stuff basically. Organization. Killing time. So you wanted to? I'll get you one after the show.
Yeah, I'm ready to test. Ready to test it. Ready to test it. It was looking good for everything else though, from what I was seeing. So.
What was not working?
If I didn't kill everything when it first started up, it didn't show any of the programs in the non-essentials list.
Oh yeah, that's fixed. I've fixed 12 things since then.
And it looked like it when you started up, it like made all the programs that were running like flash really weird.
Yeah, I fixed that too.
Awesome. Awesome.
I think I did. Double check. I can't. Seems like I couldn't get it to happen. I can't get it to happen now. I haven't seen it happen in a while. Weird. Yeah, I forgot what that was, but. Oh yeah. It would always happen with Notepad. What was that? That was weird. I was doing some weird shell thing. It's not doing that now.
Cool. I'm excited to test.
No, it is. It is doing that. I haven't tracked that down. It does it with Notepad.
It may have been
I can't-
Notepad that I had open.
I don't know why it's not doing it with something else, but Notepad, I guess, has I wonder if it's a scroll bar thing that just makes it noticeable. What am I doing?
Was Calc doing it too? So I usually had Calc, Notepad, and something else open, and they were all flashing like that.
Yeah, cow. Wow. What in the balls, cow? Hmm. All right, I'm gonna get a look at that. I've been meaning to look. I'm rearranging. I'm going through with my code analyzing tools
Mm-hmm.
and just making sure everything's declared right and all that other good nonsense. I might turn up something there. But I'd rather get you the build actually after I finish this. Maybe later today. Because I don't want you to have to test for no reason and test again.
Yeah.
Because I know you'll want to test. I'll want to test after I do this. Theoretically, with no code changes, nothing should be broken, but I may see something and change something and break something, so. But yeah, so that's all I'm doing. I'm just, but yeah, the other thing's fixed anyway. I mean, it's all ready. And I added a lot of neat little things, control tool tips and things that let people know what's going on.
There, I can show off the dam footage that we did get. The dam footage.
Damn.
So this is at Tallulah Falls in Georgia. This is the dam that they built that prevents the waterfall, or that's in front of all the waterfalls. So the waterfalls used to be even more massive, I would imagine, before this was built. Gosh, that looks pretty. So it's a pretty big dam.
Nice.
Danger,
I'm not going to ask the
dam!
Beavis and Butthead joke.
I want to go there so bad.
I already did with the dam footage.
Your damn footage.
Yeah.
Dam footage. There's Destiny going crazy.
Excuse me.
So that side over there is the gorge side. I almost crashed it at the end here. I haven't even watched that part, so I want to see what that looks like. It kind of got away from me.
Oh, that would suck.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't even know how hard it would have been to get that thing back at that point.
Extremely.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It was very nerve-wracking because every time it went under that bridge, it lost GPS signal. So that was kind of worrisome. And then not being able to see it, and also it's been a week or so since I had flown it, so I was kind of forgetting the controls, how I had them set up. So sometimes I was going up and down when I thought I was going back and forth, and not a good thing to mix up. But these aren't even the cool waterfalls. There's actually like some pretty big waterfalls there. And they're on further down that river. Johnny was worried about it getting wet. It's like, we're not even close. That is a pretty big dam. Clint said, damn danger. But that is one of the nice things about this drone, is there is no other way I would have gotten this kind of footage or pictures.
Heck no. That's beautiful.
There are also power lines across the bridges, and you might have seen them in between over the dam. And I was worried about clipping those. I should have taken it straight up in the air, but I was wanting to save battery for the. Oh, that's where I almost lost it. I thought I was going to face plant into the dam. Let me smile and say hey. And that was that.
That's pretty awesome.
Johnny pointed at that sign like, no trespassing, violators will be persecuted, and I was, or prosecuted, not persecuted. And I was like, so?
It doesn't say no drones.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my drone isn't trespassing technically.
That's not what I was pointing at.
Oh, what were you pointing at?
I'll have to tell you later.
Oh, Okay. Glenn says in the chat that this last season a number of storm chasers were using drones to get above the trees. And they are very good for that. Although I would really like to fly it during a storm, but I'd be fairly worried about it. I'd at least like it to be just a lightning storm only or something. And I know those happen at the beach a lot, so that would be a cool thing to get. But it also may be something that attracts lightning. Because it does say on the site not to fly it during storms or bad weather. And he says, oh no, not in the storm. I guess just watching the storms come up. Yeah. He says usually it's to get a profile of the storm. Man, out in the outback, you probably wouldn't have any interference, and you wouldn't. You'd have a lot of flat land, so you could probably go really high. That drone, from what the website says, Johnny, is it's actually supposed to go 3.1 miles in the air.
That's what I keep telling you.
You told me 1.3 miles.
No, I keep saying. Yeah. What did you say?
3.1 miles.
No, it says 1.3 miles.
As its max altitude?
As its max distance away from the remote control.
Oh, okay.
So bubble up.
How high up can it go?
That's supposedly that's.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah, so like you can go 3 miles up, 3 miles out, right, straight, forward, wherever. Where is this? Yeah, so see here. How far can I fly my Phantom 3? The signal transmission distance will vary depending on environmental conditions, but the Phantom 3 series can reach a distance of up to 3.1 miles, 5 kilometers away from the pilot, when unobstructed and no interference. Yeah, the FAA, FAA they suggest, or they have a 400 feet rule here, but it's not enforced or enforceable even, I don't think. But I think 500 or 400 feet is the ceiling because of helicopters. And then if you go up too high, you'll start getting into airplane territory. And if you're 3 miles up, I think you'd be into commercial flight zone territory. So.
Yeah.
But 400 feet is still pretty dang high. It is definitely way above the trees, so you don't have to worry there. But it's definitely not as high as 1,300 feet. That's the farthest I've been able to get it, and I'm assuming that's because of interference with like power lines and Wi-Fi's and microwaves and all that stuff that I've been flying around. Imagine if you're out in the desert like the Outback or out west, you could probably get further.
What happens when you get to that threshold? Does it lose communication with the drone, or?
It just says weak transmission signal, and like you can't fly it further. And it's got a safety feature, so supposedly when it reaches that point, it will turn back around and automatically try to come home and land. But the key there is you have to make sure that it is up high enough to avoid any obstacles, because it doesn't have a way to avoid obstacles. It will just take a straight path back home to the home point, which gets set when you first take it off. If it's got a GPS signal, it'll set a home point, and then it'll fly back to there and land. But the times that I've done it so far, it's like it loses signal, and then you're like on edge, like, come on, come back, go backwards, backwards, back. Oh God, thank you. Because I have not yet tested the automatically come back and land. I want to have like a huge open clear area to test that feature, so it doesn't wreck or get lost.
I don't know. That just seems like something you should take a shot at. Just let it go and see how it happens.
Yeah. Well, the battery mode would be the easiest way, because it's supposed to kick that feature in when the battery gets too low. But you can turn off all the battery safety features, and it'll just fall out of the air when it has the battery.
That's great.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't want those safety features on.
No, not at all. I did have a couple come up while I was doing the firmware stuff out in the parking lot, and they're like, "Hey, excuse me, I wanted to ask about your drone. We were actually just talking about this. How much was that?" And I was like, "Well, they range between $800 and $1,400 depending on which one you get, and the biggest difference is the camera that you get on it." And they were like, "Oh, well, our son won't be getting that then." I was like, well, this is actually a fairly nice one. You can get them for about $200-$300 and get a decent one with a decent camera on it. And I told him the one that Christofari has, and I was like, the biggest difference between those though is this one has like a 20-minute battery life, where that one would have a 10-minute battery life. And I was like, man, 10 minutes will go super fast. Like 20 minutes already seems like it goes way too fast. And then having to wait for it to charge, I definitely would want to get one that had replaceable batteries, so I could get a couple battery packs and have them charged and ready. But these battery packs are like $150. Not dropping that. I'll wait an hour.
Now, my son would love a drone, but I'm sure he would crash it a lot.
Yeah. Well, we saw some pretty cool ones in Walmart this past weekend too. There's a Millennium Falcon drone for like
Yeah.
$50 or $80, something like that.
I've seen that one.
That looked pretty cool. They had an X-wing drone. I couldn't figure out how it flies, but that seemed pretty cool. I think the Millennium Falcon one looked cooler.
It does, and it just sinks into the bog.
Yeah. I would, those seem like they'd be alright. And Glenn's like, $150 for a spare battery. Fuck.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, man. It is a pretty hefty battery, though. Like, it's actually, this battery is as heavy as this drone, so. Why don't you turn it on? But yeah, that extra 20 minutes would be super nice. Make my own battery? I doubt that. I was looking at it though, because when I was waiting around on the firmware stuff, I was researching some stuff about the weak signal, and I found out that you can take that thing apart and add aluminum foil to the wire for the GPS, and that'll actually make it lock onto GPS quicker and have less interference, supposedly. But that would mean taking that apart, which they said is 16 screws, which I don't even know if I could locate 16 screws on that thing, let alone take it apart and feel confident in it getting put back together.
I'm sure there's a YouTube video on how to do it.
Yeah.
Duct tape and super glue, my friend.
I'm fine taking apart a $600 laptop and putting it back together, but $1,200 drone, not really looking to go there.
It couldn't be too much harder than a laptop. Probably easier.
I don't know, but there's been some times where I took apart a laptop and regretted it as well, so.
Yeah, that's for sure.
When it says only 16 screws, which, yeah, that's a lot less than are in a laptop, but still. Still, not worth the risk. Maybe when I get tired of it in a year or two. Or if I crash it and have to take it apart, then it'll be alright. But not until then. Not until then. Hmm. What else we got, peoples? I think that's all the interesting things that we have here.
I got none interesting. So you can look out for. You can definitely get a Kill 'Em All release this week. Yay!
Yay!
There can't be any way I can mess it up now.
Famous words before
That's
2
what
more
Napoleon
weeks.
said.
Famous words indeed.
Yes. Yes.
Right up there with, hey guys, look at this.
Glenn says D7 update server not available. Is this an Aussie issue again? What are you trying to do in D7?
Nope, they sound like.
D7 2 on the server? Well, as far as the servers themselves go, I'm able to get to them all. Let me try running an update on mine and see what we got there. Yeah, actually, Glenn, I was talking with a friend, Christofaria, that's in Australia, and we were comparing notes on our speed test, and then we were comparing notes on doing speed tests from where we are to where the other person was connecting to their closest server, and that's pretty crazy to see the difference. Like, me connecting to the closest server here, I get my full 60 megabytes down and 5 megabytes up. But connecting to a server in what's Sydney, I was getting like 2 megabytes down and like 1.5 up. So those Pacific wires, I think, are a little bit screwy. I'm gonna double check if I can update mine right now. So give me a sec here. Do 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 do. And we also had long talks about the internet issues there. As far as the government having taken control of all the internet and wires and whatnots. Yeah, satellite internet connections are terrible. Unless you're in a place where you can't get internet at all, and then it's better than nothing, I guess. Apparently I have not used this copy in a while, so give me a moment more here. I am getting a failed to connect to update server. But that's only on the first check. It looks like when I clicked update button, it actually did go through an update.
We're talking about updating, just what? My first check.
I'll show you. Yeah, Glenn, that NBN stuff is what we talked about for a while. It did go through an update, but... And I don't know if it's going to do it because it's going to show up on this screen. Yeah, when I first opened the update window, which I can't pull over because this is taken over, it says failed to connect to server. But if I actually hit update, it did download the update and update it. If I do the recheck, it says failed.
Okay.
It said failed, but when I actually, it showed there were updates available, and then clicking update actually did update. So if that's what you're seeing, Glenn, try clicking on update, see if it works. Hmm. Okay, so you're already up to date. Good deal. Cool. Well, it's good to hear you haven't had an issue in ages. That's a good sign. Good news, good news. What are you doing, puppy? You're just laying there? Being a lazy dog? I read it as thought, so don't worry about your fingers there. Uh, those. Those, not those. Oh, Johnny, here's that suspension bridge. This is in the Tulua Falls Gorge. Apparently you can't take your pets across it, though. We had Destiny with us, so we couldn't even go on over to it.
Jeez.
There's one of the waterfalls. That's the dam. Oh, it looks like in the summer they were actually letting a little bit more water off. There's other falls. Those falls. These falls. Those falls. Same falls. These falls. That somewhat of a falls. And then those falls. I think these are the ones that we saw from up where we were. Those are really hard to get to. I got half soaked going to them. I was not prepared for water walking. It's definitely somewhere you want to go prepared to swim. Alright. Well, I guess we're ready to get back to work and start off this weekend, or start off this week.
Yeah, happy Friday, everybody. I'll see y'all on Monday. All right. Well, this week flew by.
Hey, sometimes it feels like it flies by that fast.
Glenn says, talking waterfalls, see the footage of the upside down waterfall in the UK? I have not. What is that? Let's look that up.
They show it in rewind.
A weather bomb makes an upside down waterfall. Oh, so it's like the wind pushing the water into something. Here's a YouTube clip of it. I don't know if this is the same one. There's a upside down waterfall. I don't know if that's the same one you're talking about.
That's pretty cool.
The most interesting waterfalls, I think, are the ones that are in the ocean. Like they have waterfalls like in the ocean. He said that was the same waterfall, it's just a different angle. Let's see if we can find some of the ocean waterfalls. Yeah, that's the most famous one, I think. That is awesome. It's an underwater waterfall.
Oh, I like that.
That is cool.
That would be a fun place to fly the drone.
Just hope you don't get confused.
Yeah. Got a lot of different angles of it. Maritius. How do we get there?
D72.com thing now, by the way. The D72 update thing.
Oh. So that is off this small island off of Madagascar Island. That's where that underground waterfall is. I'm betting it's right there. That's pretty sweet. Let's go there.
All right.
All right. Well, let's get this week started and get some apps out and finished, and we will be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. So if you have any questions, always feel free to join us in the IRC chat, and we will be here ready to answer them tomorrow at 10 a.m. Otherwise, hope your week starts off well and continues that way, and we will see you tomorrow. Later, internets.